Hello everyone, welcome to eHave Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is institution webinar series. My name is Anton Hilman and I'm going to moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by the representative of Institut National des Sciences Appliquées, INSA Lyon. Please stay tuned until the end of this webinar because after the presentation, we will hold a Q&A session. If you have any question about the presentation or anything related to the institution, you can submit your question in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now, please welcome Institut National des Sciences Appliquées INSA Lyon.
So hello everyone, my name is Lorna Fitzpatrick. I'm the Director of Studies of the SCience section at INSA Lyon. I'll just wait for my presentation to come online. So the SCience section at the Institute of National Sciences in INSA Lyon is an English-speaking section. So we have opportunities for English-speaking students to come and study in Lyon, in one of the top engineering schools in France. So before I present the SCience section, I'll present the INSA group to you. So INSA has 7 different institutes in France. As you can see, they're spread over the map of France here. We have Hauts-de-France in the north, in Lille, Rouen, in Normandy, Rennes, Strasbourg, in Bourges in the center of France, the Val-de-Loire, INSA Toulouse, and INSA Lyon. And INSA Lyon is the largest of the INSAs, and it's the highest ranked. It's one of the highest ranked engineering schools in France. We also have an international partnership school in Morocco, and we have 6 partner universities around France as well. So students can begin their studies in one INSA, and they can also transfer to another INSA during their studies if the other INSA has a speciality, for example, that we don't have in our INSA. But as I said, INSA Lyon is the largest of the INSAs and it's the highest ranked. Okay, so INSA has existed for 60 years. It was founded in 1957 with a specific ideology. It is a top engineering school. It wants to train the best engineers, but we want it to be as open as possible to a public that's as diverse as possible. So we welcome students from different backgrounds, from different countries, and we value diversity. So we are a multidisciplinary school. Every year we have over 1,000 graduate students, and we have 9 engineering specialities. So of those specialities, we have biosciences, civil engineering and urbanism, electrical engineering, we have energy and environmental engineering, we have industrial engineering, mechanical engineering, we have computer sciences, material sciences, and telecommunications. So students come to INSA, they complete 2 years of a foundation course in general sciences, and after 2 years, they choose one of their departments. So as you can see, the departments are very diverse. The 2 foundation years give students the opportunity to taste everything, to see what they're good at, and eventually they can choose their speciality and their department. And of course, each department has a very active research activity behind it. We have 23 research laboratories. At the moment, we have over 600 PhD students and 80 postdoctoral students. Roughly every year on average, INSA researchers publish about 1,500 journal papers, and we're involved in 1,300 international conferences. So we have a very vibrant research community here as well, which is also very well known worldwide. We're very proud to count some Nobel laureates among our research alumni here at INSA. So that's INSA in general. I'm here to present specifically the SCAN program, which is likely to be of most interest to students in Indonesia. So why SCAN, we call it, it means Science ANglais, our sciences in English. So it's an entirely English-speaking international section, and it's open to students worldwide. So we have French students who are fluent in English. We have students from Anglophone countries around the world, and also students from non-Anglophone countries, but who speak more or less fluent English. So what we ask for students coming from French students is that they have a B2 plus or a C1 level of English. I've given you some equivalents there so you can see. And if you take the IELTS, if you're used to the IELTS test in Indonesia, it roughly corresponds to about a 7 or 8 point grade. but we would look at anything from 6.5 upwards. So we ask for B2 plus or C1 level in English. However, we have no minimum level of French. That means you can speak no French at all. As long as you speak fluent English, you can apply to INSA Lyon and you can still function in your studies. So this map gives you a rough vision of how international this section is. We welcome students from all over the world. This is the current map. It doesn't include all the past students and the countries that they come from. So as you can see, our students come from everywhere, from North and South America, from quite a lot of European countries, from Russia, India, South Africa, Madagascar, and within Asia, we have students from Vietnam, from Hong Kong and Malaysia. And we're hoping, of course, to add some Indonesian students to that mix. So we're very, very proud of the diversity that we have. At the moment, we have about 4/5 of our student population who are French, but who speak fluent English. So very often those students have lived or have studied abroad, and they're very open-minded and used to this very open international context. And about 1/5 of our students are not French. So we find that the integration works very well between all these students from all these different cultures and nationalities. And we're very, very proud of the diversity that we have in our program. And we hope to add to that diversity, of course, every year. So INSA, like I said, is a very high-ranked engineering school. We have a very selective admission process. So if students want to apply to our SCience section, first of all, they have to apply to INSA Lyon. So we have a centralized admission process, and that's based on students' maths and science level. So first of all, INSA Lyon, the centralized admission process, will accept or reject students' applicants. Any students' applicants who are accepted and who want to integrate SCAN, then we look at their applications. So the main criteria for selection is your maths and science level. And then for us in the SCAN section, to be accepted in the SCAN section, we look at your English level as well. So we're looking for students who excel in maths and science, who want to pursue their superior studies in maths and science in a top level institute. Our teachers are among the best researchers here at INSA as well. Our students love to have teachers who are also researchers. They tell that those teachers are very passionate about what they teach. And so we strive for success and for excellence in all our subjects. So this gives you a visual idea of how the course is structured. So like I said, students who integrate INSA Lyon do 2 years of a foundation course. So the SCAN section that I'm responsible for is a 2-year course where students, they study general maths and sciences. After those 2 years of foundation course, the students choose their department. So they choose their specialization. If you remember those 9 departments I talked about earlier, so they can be as diverse as computer sciences or biosciences or industrial engineering. So after that, students spend 3 years in the departments. And after those 3 years, so a 5-year study program altogether, they leave INSA with a master's in engineering. So this first year gives you an idea of what a typical or an average week looks like and the subjects that we study that we offer for first year students. So first years have about 30 hours of contact per week. That means they spend 30 hours in a classroom per week. This may seem unusual for certain students who spend less time in a classroom, but at INSA, we structure the classes so that all the work is done in class, where the teachers are there to help the students with the exercises. So they look at both the theory in class and they also look at the practical and they look at the exercises in class where the teacher is present. So when they go home in the evening after their day of classes, they may need to look over or revise their work, but they've done the majority of their work within the working day in school. Okay, so I took a print screen from the INSA website, so it's in French. So I'm going to go through the different subjects here in English. So in the first section you'll see there is pure sciences. So we have mathematics, algorithmics, programming. We have applied maths for engineering students, where we look at softwares that can help you to apply maths to engineering problems. Then we have experimental sciences. So we have physics, for example. So optique mesure électrocinétique means electrokinesthetic measures. And then we have chemistry. And then we have industrial sciences, and conception means design, so mechanical design. Then we have utensils and methods for engineer, and that's looking at mostly software. So documentary research is part of the program in first year, how to do proper documentary research to research a scientific subject, but also how to discover and use softwares that are needed and vital for engineers. Then we have a humanities section as well. I'll talk about this in a bit more detail later. So the students in the SCience section, because they speak English fluently already, foreign language. So again, I'll look at the different languages available in a few minutes. We also have cultural studies, and the INSA students, they love these cultural studies. So we want to form and to train complete engineers who are excellent in maths and sciences, but who also have a very general and grounded education in the humanities, so that they're able to apply a humanist spirit and way of thinking to their engineering work in the future. So that they think about the consequences of scientific and technological developments on society and on behavior and on people. So that's part of our ideology and our values here at INSA. We train engineers to think about the global context and the world in which they're going to work and the people in it. And also, because it's an elitist school, like I said, we have a selective administration process. We know that the work is tough for students sometimes. We also provide sports classes, and this allows students to offload their stress, physical activity, and again, to contribute to their overall mental well-being and their health. So that's the typical timetable in first year. So that's common to across INSA. What's specific about SCience, so this is what will interest again students here, is that we make a big effort to integrate students who come from all over the world. And even the French students tend to be very international. They've studied or lived in international places. So every year, the second year students, they organize an integration weekend for the first year students. And the main purpose of this is to facilitate friendships and group spirits. And we're very proud in the SCience section, we have a very strong group identity. So we also form the students into families. So when people arrive in first year, they're attributed to a family of students with similar interests or hobbies or personalities. And that family then stick together. They help the students to integrate with any problems they may have. They also help them with their work and their studies. Those families remain very tight units throughout the studies. So there's a very strong group and team spirit among the first and second year students. So we start like that from the very start of the year. As soon as they arrive, this integration weekend is organized for them. And we're very proud, again, everybody makes the comment that in SCience we have a very, very strong group identity and group spirit. Okay, what else is specific about SCience, and I'm sure this will interest a lot of the perspective. In second year, students have the opportunity to spend 2 weeks in British or Irish university, like for example, Oxford or Cambridge or Trinity in Dublin. So we organize that. Students are attributed places according to their interest and how they've been classed. And for 2 weeks, they're allowed to spend the time in these universities and also visiting the country, obviously. So we organize this, there's a specific budget for this every year, given the opportunity to go and taste life and studies in a British or Irish university. Apart from that, in the SCience section, we also organize what we call transversal or interdisciplinary projects for first years at the end of the first semester. So this means that after a semester of scientific studies, we give them the opportunity to apply those skills, those competences in practical projects. So we offer a wide variety of projects. For example, this year or last year, the students had the choice between a project on how to build a lava lamp or how to design an autonomous house using photovoltaic cells, or how to design innovative biomedical devices. So it's really very practical, applied tasks like that the students can choose from. So they get to work with researchers who give them the theory, the theoretical skills that they need, and then they work on projects together, and some, if they can, depending on their subjects, they build a prototype of what they've been studying, and they present their project to a jury. So this allows them to develop their professional skills as well, and we get very positive feedback. So this is another something that's specific to our SCience section here at INSA Lyon. And there's also opportunity to present their projects to industry representatives. Okay, so this is our languages and humanities section, which is very important for us as well at INSA, especially in SCience in our international sections. So for students who don't speak any French, on the top band there, you can see FLE, that means teaching French as a foreign language. So students who speak no French at all when they arrive, we offer them 6 hours of French teaching per week. And that means that gradually they work up to a level of fluency that will allow them to integrate one of the departments at INSA afterwards. Now, in the departments, some of the classes are offered in English, but not 100%. So our objective is to bring them to a level of fluency that allows them to integrate the department. They're offered 6 hours of French a week. Then after the first year, they're tested again. If it's deemed that their level of French is sufficient, they can drop to a lower level and participate in the other humanities subjects. If after being tested in first year, it's considered they only need 4 hours of French language, then they also study a foreign language. That's the second band that you can see here. If it's considered it's only necessary to take 2 hours of French a week based on their French level, then they also participate in cultural studies, culture, science, and society, we call that, and in another language. And if their French level is deemed good enough to not take any French lessons, then they take culture and society and a language, and they also take what we call SCience options, and this is marked in blue here. So I'll go into more detail about this later. Our SCience options are humanities type lessons as well that also teach students practical skills and professional skills. So just to give you an idea of the languages that are available here at INSA Lyon, we have a lot of languages that SCience students can, if they have a sufficient level of French and they can take another language, they can choose any language that they want. So apart from English and French, we have European languages like German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and we also offer other languages like Chinese, Japanese, and Arabic. So students can choose whatever language they want out of all that. And SCience students will be mixed with students from the departments when they take their language classes. We have native speakers of all those languages giving classes. They teach the language, they teach about the culture of the country as well. So it's a huge opportunity for INSA students. And once they've validated a certain level in language, they can switch and take another language the year after. So some students take the opportunity to learn 2 or 3 extra languages while they're here at INSA. Otherwise, you can choose to keep the same language and bring it to a very high level at the end of the studies. So students have their own choice when it comes to that. Okay, and then our SCience options and our cultural studies. So like we said at INSA, we think it's very important for students to have a well-rounded and balanced education. They're not just engineers, they're humanist engineers. So they excel at maths and science, but they should also have humanities training. So the consequences of technological developments and scientific developments on society. So we offer them classes as well as working on their professional skills. So we offer classes, for example, in radio broadcasting. The SCience students have their own radio channel, which we're very proud of. And the SCience students keep it up to date every week. They put it together, they put their programs together based on a whole range of topics, from current affairs and news and entertainment or sport, whatever it is, whatever corresponds to their interest. So the SCience students have been running their own radio show for the last 10 years or so, and it's published on the INSA website. We also offer classes in journalism and scientific journalism in particular. And the SCience students also run their own science news websites. So SCience students make contributions to this as well. We also have classes in cognitive science and psychology so that the students can learn about their own cognition, their own mental processes, how to manage their mental health, as well as just learning about interesting things like group psychology, social psychology, and things like memory and attention, and even cross-cultural psychology. We also have activism. We have practical skills like public speaking and negotiating that are very important, will be very important for their future careers as engineers. We have classes in international culture. And then in second year, we have a big audiovisual project where SCience students have the opportunity to film their own documentary. In second year, also students who wish can sign up to specialized courses in music, art, theater, and dance. So if any students have a background or have an interest in those arts subjects in second year, they can also sign up to all these classes here. And these are all taught by professionals from the arts world. So we have real artists, real theater directors, real dancers and choreographers and real musicians giving classes for students who are interested in this. So these are every 6 weeks, the students rotate between the different subjects. So at the end of the 2 years in SCience, they'll have had the opportunity to study 8 of these different subjects. So it gives them a very balanced and well-rounded education. It really opens their minds, develops their critical thinking and their professional skills. And of course, at SCience, like we said, we have a very strong group identity. Very often throughout the year, we organize cultural and social activities. This is very important for us. What you can see on the left there is our traditional Pi Day, made on a play of words, where everyone bakes a cake and comes along with it and talks. We have a barbecue every year. We have our weekend away. And very, very often throughout the year at INSA, in any case, there are lots and lots of social activities and events. There are over 300 associations here at INSA associations. So depending on your interests or what you like, students can sign up to an association, and there are regular meetings and get-togethers every single week between the different associations. So whether it's a sport, something like badminton or football, or whether it's something like chess, or card games, or dance, or social activism, whatever it is. Students have the opportunity to sign up to these associations and to have regular meetings. So that's INSA in general. Within SCience, we also have very strong support networks. So this is organized informally by the students themselves. So like I said, students have a family. The students organize that themselves at the start of the year, according to their interests. And they help students with any difficulties or anything that they might. We also formally organize support services for the students. So each group in SCience has a delegate, for example. Myself and the director, we meet very regularly with the delegates to talk about how everything is going with the classes, for them to give us feedback. And we organize for any students who are experiencing difficulties in their studies, we organize special tutoring services for them. So in subjects like maths, physics, chemistry, whatever it is. So any students who find that they're struggling, they can turn to their family informally, or they can come to us formally, and we organize those tutoring services for them. So our objective is to integrate everybody, regardless of their background, regardless of the school system they've come from, is to bring everybody together and bring them all to the same level. So in the SCience section, we have a budget that allows us to offer specific support and tutoring services for any students who might need them. So our objective is to keep all our students with us, to have them healthy and good spirits, well integrated, and keeping up with their studies. And like I said, we're very proud of the team spirits, of the group spirits that we've managed to create here in the SCience section. And throughout INSA, everybody comments on how binded the SCience students are together and how good they are at working on projects together. They seem to develop a certain maturity based on their international background and the fact that they come together. They're much better at working together in groups and producing and working on projects than students who don't necessarily have this international experience and international backgrounds. So that's it. To apply to SCience, so like I said, first of all, to apply to SCience, you have to first of all apply to INSA Lyon. So there's a specific application process that you can access by logging onto this website here. So what you do is you make a general application for INSA Lyon, and you select INSA Lyon SCience as your first preference. So it's a sub choice within the application process. And the application process is open from November of 2020 until May of 2021 for next year. So right now, this admissions website should be up and running. So students can log on, go through the different processes, and just make sure that if they want to apply to the SCience section, that they select INSA Lyon SCience as their first preference. And once they've been accepted based on their maths and science level, then myself and the other director of SCience, we can look at their applications, and based on their English level, we can see if they can be admitted to the SCience section. So like I said, we're hoping to add Indonesia to our very large intercultural and international family in the SCience section of INSA Lyon this year. So that's all from my presentation. So I'll get to any questions that you have. I'll be able to stay online for a while. So if anyone wants to ask any questions, go ahead.
All right, interesting presentation. Merci beaucoup, madame, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Now we will begin the Q&A session.
Yes.
Okay, I will read the question from the YouTube comment section. The first question, it goes, for the English program, what kind of document should be prepared to apply to your university?
Okay, so we don't actually require that you have passed one of the English certification tests, like a TOEIC or an IELTS. However, if a concrete proof.
Excusez-moi, en fait, on n'entend pas votre. Oui. Excusez-moi. Hello. Hello, Madame Lorna. Vous m'entendez? Do you hear me?
Yes. Hear me?
I think we have a problem, the connection problem. We couldn't hear you. Yeah. Yes, now I can hear you. You can answer the question, please.
Okay, so like I said, we don't, it's not an official requirement to have the TOEIC or the IELTS or the official exam like this. However, if you have an exam like that, it helps us to determine if you have a level that's sufficient to enter the SCience process into the SCience section. So if you can have an official certification, it helps us to filter and to decide, but it's not an official requirement, okay? Right, what we do is in the application process, we ask you to write a letter explaining your motivation and your reason. And so through reading the letter, we get an idea of your English level in any case.
Ok, merci beaucoup. En fait, chaque 3 minutes, je pense que votre connexion est un peu mauvaise parce que parfois on n'entend pas.
Okay.
Okay. The next question. For Indonesian high school student, is it possible to apply to your university?
Yes, of course. Of course. It's possible. So all we ask is that you have an excellent level in maths and science. We will look at the equivalences between the Indonesian baccalaureate, the equivalent, and ours here. And that for the SCience section that you have an excellent level of English. So of course, the SCience section is open to everybody from every country.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Next question, for the master degree, do students need to provide a recommendation letter from the workplace or the previous university?
For the master's degree, no, we don't require that. No. Okay. It's just based on their grades in school. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. Next question, it goes, can you explain me more about the life in Lyon?
So Lyon is a beautiful city, I'm happy to say. It's the second largest city in France, but it's much smaller than Paris. So it's a big city with a very vibrant cultural life and social life, but it's on a much more human scale and human level than Paris. And it's a beautiful, beautiful city with a nice climate, a little bit cold in winter, maybe for Indonesians, but nice and warm in spring and in summer. And there's a very good public transport. There's a very good social welfare system here. Students are helped by the French government, whether they're French or whether they're foreign students. They contribute economically to the student studies. Nobody has anything negative to say about Lyon in general. We're lucky to live in a very beautiful city. We're also very near the mountains, the Alps. We're not too far from the sea. We're not too far from the other French cities or from Switzerland if you want to travel. So we're very privileged here in our situation.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Next question. It goes, is there any scholarship provided by university?
There are some scholarships. So again, the students apply to INSA first. Once they're accepted, and once they're accepted to the scan section, then they can apply for a scholarship. So yes, there are some scholarships attributed to students every year, depending on their backgrounds. So again, like I said, we value diversity here at Lyon. So if students with an excellent level in maths and science, regardless of their background, we want to integrate them here. So yes, we will study any application for a scholarship.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Next question, it goes, how much is the living cost in Lyon?
Again, so this depends. So at INSA, we have student residences where the students are attributed a place in first and second year. They don't need to look for private accommodation, and these are very reasonable. So they cost about 200 euros per month. Have a student card which allows them to eat all their meals in the canteens here. So the living costs, a lot of it is included in what we offer here at INSA. Again, then it depends on your personal preferences, how much you intend to travel or go into the city for social life. But 100 to 200 euros a month should be sufficient.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Next question, it goes, nice campus. Is there assistance from the campus for international students to get a job after study? Thank you.
Okay, so after studies, you mean after the 5-year program?
After graduating, yeah.
Okay, so after graduating, INSA students, like I said, it's a very renowned university. Students have no problems finding jobs. And any foreign students who want to stay in France, yes, they can apply for a titre de séjour, we call that. And again, any foreign students who want to stay in France, they tend to have no problem finding work. Once they have an INSA Lyon qualification, there tends to be no problems at all.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Next question. Is there any possibility to do the part-time job during the study, and what kind of part-time job? Thank you.
Okay, so yes, some students do have a part-time job. However, as you saw, you have 30 hours per week in class. You may need to revise at weekends as well, so you have to take that into account. With your titre de séjour, as far as I know, you can work. You have the possibility. However, there may be you can work. For example, if you're a good student, you can offer tutoring services. For example, teaching maths or physics to younger students or students in difficulty, and that can be a better way to earn money rather than to leave the campus and work somewhere else, which can have a negative impact on people's studies. So the possibility is there, but we don't recommend it. What I would recommend if you want to earn some extra money is to offer tutoring services to other students who are struggling. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question is, for master degree student, do they need to do the internship program during the study?
Yes. So all master students spend 6 months off the campus. So either in a professional setting or in a foreign university. And depending on the departments, some departments have students do both. So both an off-campus in a foreign university and a research internship, and a professional internship. And very often students are offered employment by the company that they do their internship with.
The next question is related to the internship program. Do campus help students to find an internship place?
So every campus, every department has a lot of contacts in the industry because past students have done their internships there. So students generally, they apply to internships for themselves. They send off their letters. If somebody can't find an internship, yes, then the department will help. But to be honest, INSA students always find their internships because they have a very good reputation. So once they apply for
Hello, madam,
yes.
we cannot hear your... voice.
Okay, so I'll repeat the answer then. So yes, we help students to find internships because we have links and contacts, but generally INSA students don't need much help because they have a very good reputation and the companies want to offer them internships.
Thank you for your answer. Next question. Hi INSA Lyon. How will the study process be held during this pandemic? Will the program be conducted in 100% online class?
Okay, so we've tried to avoid that. In the scan section this year, we're very happy because all our foreign students, including students from Vietnam or South America, they were all able to come to the campus. We started the year in September, 100% in class with teachers. Because of the situation in France, we're currently under a lockdown. So unfortunately, at the moment, we're doing most of our classes online. However, first years have their practical classes in the classrooms with their teachers. So we have our priorities to keep first years in the classrooms as much as possible. So we try to avoid distance teaching. At the moment, unfortunately, it's necessary. By the end of January, we should be back to 100% presence teaching, face-to-face teaching.
All right, thank you very much. The next question, it goes, is there a country representative of your university in Indonesia, and how to contact your university?
Okay, so there's not a person physically present. What you could do is contact the French embassy if you want to be in contact with somebody in Indonesia. Otherwise, you can contact myself and the other director directly. So if you look at the INSA website, you'll find our contact details. You can contact us directly.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question, and it would be the last question for this webinar. Okay, it goes, what is the biggest challenge faced by international students in your campus?
Okay, so it depends very often where the students come from. For students from some parts of the world, like South America, they tend to have problems with the level of maths. They don't seem to have the same level of maths. But this doesn't tend to be a problem for students from Asian countries, from Vietnam, from Hong Kong. They seem to have the same level. And those students can find learning French a little bit challenging, but they all succeed.
Okay, all right. I guess that's the end of our Q&A session. Just reminder that you can connect with the representative through the information given earlier. Thank you, Madam, for your presentation, and I hope to see you again.
See you
Bye-bye.
again. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
You too.
And to all the audience, thank you for watching. And for your information, we will organize virtual fair this Friday and Saturday, where you can connect directly with the university. For more information, kindly visit our website event.ehf.id. Thank you, and see you in our next session.